Welcome back to Dad Bod Garage. I want to take a quick video today to introduce a project some of you may or may not know of. It's known by a few names: the toilet duct, the white car, the turbo car. I don't have a lot of updates on it as of right now, but there are going to be a few coming in the future. I do have quite a few parts, as you can see on the rack back there, and the one right there. Those are all parts ready to go on. But I am waiting on a few things, namely a head gasket, head studs, and some other stuff. If you guys have been following any of my pictures or anything on social media, you know this has taken me quite a while. I bought the cars either 2014 or 2015, and it was essentially bone stock, except for a few suspension things like lower control arm bushings that were pretty minor, and then it also had a huge wrap on it, which explains the name toilet duct, because on the hood that's sitting right behind me right here, there was a giant duck sitting on the toilet reading a newspaper. That has all since been removed, along with every other decal that was on it, and has essentially been turned back to stock body-wise and appearance-wise. But the plans are not for it to be stock at all. So I just want to do a rundown of all the things I've got planned for it, all the parts that I've got sitting over here, and also the kind of timeline I'm trying to accomplish this year with finding out that I'm going to be a father for the second time, and trying to get stuff done before the baby comes, not necessarily for the baby, but for me. And I figured this would be the best way to get the channel moving, since my son is not here as much, since he doesn't live with me full time. I could do some stuff on the e36 over here and actually get some work done, get you guys some content, and also document the things that I'm doing, not for my own self, but also you guys, since you guys are always bugging me about seeing progress and wanting me to get the car done and everything. So I'll go ahead and give you a quick rundown of what is done and what still needs done and all the parts and stuff that I bought for it. But so let me just get this camera turned around. All right, guys, here it is. I say this is the toilet duct. As you can see, like I said, the motor's out. Everything's getting prepped to go back in as soon as I get some other parts. In the meantime, I have cleaned some stuff up, gotten the block degreased and everything like this. This is just a stock M50. Since this is a 93 325, it just comes with a 2.5 liter straight six. Plans for this, I say they're cast internals, rotating assembly and everything, aluminum pistons, 10.2 to 1 compression. As you can see, I've cleaned it up a little bit. The pistons got there wasn't actually a whole lot of built up on these pistons, so they weren't too bad. Just soaked them in a little bit of WD-40 and cleaned them off with a paper towel. But plans for this are just ARP head studs, cut ring gasket, put the head back on and see what she'll do. Power goals are about 500 horsepower, so hopefully I can reach that on this block without it destroying itself completely. Camshafts that you see in the background, those are actually the factory cams. Those will not be going back in. I have a set of S50 cams and trays and everything associated to go back into the new head, or not the new head, but this head over here, which is also a factory 325 head. Pretty clean for the most part. I haven't cleaned this up at all. This is what you see in here. This is all the buildup there was in here, just a little bit of like brown gold residue from oil over the years. Stock valve train for now. This is the stock, or not stock turbo, but the mock-up turbo that I bought a while ago for pretty cheap, just to fit everything up before I could afford the one that's in here. This is a 6262. I may have rebuilt it at some point, but as of right now, it's kind of ugly, as you can tell, and it needs a lot of stuff. The compressor housing is completely torn up from a previous owner. This new guy, however, is a 6266 precision journal bearing 81 AR. Bought that from Real Street Performance down in Florida. They say they use it on their Supras that are 3 to 3.4 liters, depending on what engine it has in it and how much it's had done to it. But this is the ones they use for that. So they actually recommended this one to me because I was going to go with the 63 AR. So it spool a little faster, but there's more plans coming later. So this one may lag at first, but once I have the new engine, after this guy decides to give up the ghost, we'll be running on that turbo, hopefully make a little more power. This is an OBX manifold. So they're not entirely well known for their reliability. They're known for cracking, stuff like that. Some of the weld quality is not the best, but they are known to hold or make a decent amount of power. Albeit some of the welds and stuff I need to get in with the die grinder to smooth some edges so there's not a bunch of spots in there that obstruct flow. But these totes over here, as you can see, there's more motor parts in there. That's where the my other block and a bunch of other my upgraded internals are sitting. Molnar rods with Wiseco pistons, total seal gapless rings, which I might swap out the gapless rings because I've heard some good and some bad about them versus just regular piston rings with the right gapping. So we'll figure that out later, depending on what the builder recommends once we get to that point. But as you can see, just a mess of parts. Intercooler piping with blow-off valve, shrouds, other parts. That's just, I believe, my wastegate. Yeah, it's wastegate, blow-off valve and stuff's up there. More intercooler piping. New radiator. That's the old oil pan. The new one is over there also, with a bung welded into it, which I might switch to the cover to drain about right here, just for ease of routing, just so I don't have to reach all the way down under the engine to hook that up. But and also JB Racing flywheel right here. It's I believe 11 pounds. And these are not Raceline coilovers. That's actually all of the wiring I need to swap this guy from OBD1 to OBD2, which will make tuning easier. I can do a tablet in the dash, so I can actually monitor stuff real time instead of doing OBD1 data logging crap that is a lot less reliable to figure out. But and then, as you can see, some other random parts, miscellaneous stuff. Wheels are GA3R Forge lines. Very nice wheel, lightweight, fairly expensive to replace. Luckily, I got them really cheap from a friend, so thanks, Corey. Hood vents are going to be put in here eventually. So this one will be right over the downpipe, so that's actually really nice for getting heat out of the engine bay. That one gets the heat out of the engine bay, but not as crucial as this one. So this one will help quite a bit. As far as everything else, it's all going to be, like I said, it's sitting in boxes over here. It's gauges, miscellaneous, plumbing, other turbo parts and such like that. But so this guy right here, as you can tell, it's actually pretty clean. It's the car came from Maryland. Super rust free. There's barely any rust on it at all anywhere. On the bottom, there's a couple spots just where the undercoating's been rubbed off from actually rubbing speed bumps and stuff like that. I've got M3 mirrors, M3 bump strips. They're just more aesthetically pleasing than the factory stuff. I've got an M3 bumper for it. This one's actually still got some of the residue on it from the previous owner that I haven't taken off because I actually am planning on putting an M3 bumper on it. Again, for aesthetics. Plus there's also more mounting options for diffusers and stuff like that for the M3 bumper since it's a different shape. But other than that, there will be update videos hopefully soon. But as for right now, I'm just waiting on different parts and stuff. Like I said, head gasket, head studs, stuff like that. So once I get those in, hopefully in the next month or so, then I should be able to start at least prepping the engine to go back in, getting all that figured out, mocking up the turbo, the manifold, getting all the little bits like gaskets and stuff like that, since I don't have some of that stuff, or the stuff that I did have was actually kind of cheap and chintzy, so I wanted to upgrade it to something better. But yeah, there she is. I'll say keep watching and you'll be able to see all the updates on this thing as it happens.